Hey students, here's the first video to help you get started using Autocad. So when you open Autocad, you should see a screen that looks like this. And the first thing we want to do is just to start a new drawing. So click on the A up here and go to New. Now these are different templates that are in Autocad, and the templates have things set in them, such as the units of the drawing, such as the formats of the lines and different things. I've made a template for us that we'll be using in this class. So you should see this metric Carol template here. You can just double click on that and it will open up a drawing for you. Okay, so just a little bit about the space here. This area up here is called the ribbon. This is where most of your commands will be, lots of different things. We'll look at that. Down here is called your status bar. We'll look at that. And then here's your command prompt. All right. Now the last thing over here, this is what's right now we're in model space. If you click on ISO A4 here, this is what's called paper space. Okay, so I'm just scrolling in with my mouse wheel. This is an A4 sheet of paper that has a title block on it over here, and what we draw in model space we'll be able to put on this sheet of paper to plot it. This is an A3 sheet of paper, but we don't actually do any drawing here. All the drawing is done over here in model space. Okay, so let's start very simple, and let's just teach you how to use some of the basic commands here. So we'll just start with a line. So click on line, and if I just click one time, let go, and then move my mouse over, if I click again, that will be the end of the line. But notice these numbers. You see this number that's what, 4,779. That would be the length of the line. Okay, so I could define the length by typing in a number. Now this number is in millimeters because this template, I've defined the drawing units as millimeters here. So if you're using the drawing template for this class, the metric Carol template, and this is in millimeters. So let's make a line that's in the horizontal direction like this. For 400, type in 400, hit enter, and then now notice it's really small. You can zoom in just by scrolling in, and you can move the screen left or right by holding down the center scroll wheel, and you can slide it, translate it like this. Okay, so zoom in or slide. All right, so that line is a length of whatever I defined there. I can also define a length and a angle if I want. So let's say if I want a length of 400, type in 400, and now click tab, and I could define this angle here as 45 degrees. Hit enter. All right, so now that line is that length of 400 at angle of 45. And you could just continue drawing here as you like. If you want to stop your line, not continue to draw, click on or hit escape, the escape button, and that will exit the line command. Okay, so I started the line command by clicking here. Another thing that you want to know in Autocad is a common way to start the commands is by typing them on the keyboard. So if I want to start a line on the keyboard, just start typing line, L-I-N-E, and notice line comes up. If I hit enter, well, now I'm in the line command here, and this command prompt tells me that. All right, so I could draw a line at this point. Okay. Now, I'll click escape to get out of that. So let's type the line. Let's start the line command again, L-I-N-E, and enter. And let's close this here. If I put my cursor, notice this green box that pops up. That green box is what's called a snap, and it's snapping to the end point of that line. You see it says end point there. So if I click there, it's snapped to the end point, and then come down here. Now there's the end point of that line. Now I'll click escape. Okay. These snaps are very helpful. If I want to start a line on the middle of this line, you see that triangle? That triangle is the midpoint. You can click on midpoint and then draw wherever you want and click escape. Okay. Now I'm going to delete this line. Let's click and click delete. You can delete any lines that you've drawn just by clicking on them and then pressing the delete key. Okay. Now let me show you one thing that is, or how this polyline is different. Okay. So let's use Polyline. I can click on Polyline and let's just draw something similar. It doesn't matter what shape you draw. Just draw a shape and close it. Now click escape. Okay. Alright, so how this was drawn with the line command and this was drawn with the Polyline command. So if I click on one line or one edge of the shape, it only selects that one edge. The same thing here. If I click on this, it only selects one edge. If it's drawn with a polyline, if I click on that, it selects all of them. All those lines are joined together. So let me show you why that's important. Let's say I want to change the shape of this. Click on this line. Now I can click on the end point, click and let go, and now move it. This is just moving that end point. Let's move it out here. Now click escape. Well, you can see only this line moved and this one did not stay connected to it. They were not connected together. But if I do that with one that's a polyline, let's click on this line. Now let's click on this corner and let's just move it and click again. Notice the other line that was connected to that point moved with it. Okay, but that doesn't happen if it's just drawn with a line. Now, let me show you some commands here. Let's show the command called explode. Okay, so this shape is drawn with Polyline. Okay, again, I click on Polyline, just draw any shape, and now if I click on it, well, now it's all connected. If I type in EXP L for explode there, now hit enter. Now select this object and click enter again. You can see what's happened is that now this is just like a drawn with the line command, so it unjoined or unconnected what was done there. So now this is like it was drawn with the line. Well, we can go back the other way. We can take multiple lines and connect them using the join command. So let's click on line and just draw any shape here. Okay, click escape. Now notice if I click on one, yeah, it's not joined. That one is not connected. They're not connected to one another. Click escape. Let's use the command join. Type in J-O-I. Yeah, there's join. Hit enter. And now let's select all three of these lines. Okay, and now hit enter, and now when I click on it, it's all one joined region there. So if I click on this point and move it, that other one moves as well. Even if I click on this line and move it, it's all joined together. So there's the join and explode command. Let me show you just some about zooming. You can zoom by scrolling in and out with the wheel of the mouse. Another way to zoom is type in the command Z and hit enter, and now just click and make a box, and now it will zoom in to wherever you made the box. Okay, another common command that you'll want to know is the offset command. So type in OFF, there's offset, hit enter, and now if I hit enter again, then I can select a line and just move it, and it just offsets it perpendicular some amount. If I want to define that amount, let's say 70, hit 70 and hit enter, I just offset that line by 70. Click escape. Now remember, this one that I've drawn here is it's like I've drawn it with a line. So watch this. Take the line command. Let's just draw a rectangle there. Whoop. Notice this rectangle I drew, this is not connected to this end right here. Okay. I could move it. If I click on the line, click that end, go to the end point, now it's connected. Okay. So this is drawn with line. So this line's not joined together. So if I type in offset and hit enter, I can type in a distance. Let's make the distance, I don't know, 50, hit enter. And now click on a line and move left or right, and then click again. It would offset it by 50. So that offset by 50. Click again, click again. So what I've done is I've defined the offset distance. By the way, instead of typing offset, this is the offset command as well. So click on offset, type in some number, that's your offset distance, and then click on the line you want to offset. You can continue doing it. All right. Now watch this. That was done with line, so it just offset them individually. If I used Polyline and I had a region, again, sorry, that was not connected. I can move that. Okay, so now this is a connected region, and now I do offset. Let's make it offset of 40, hit enter, and now when I do this, it moves the whole region in, or move the whole region out like that. All right. So again, if this was exploded, that wouldn't do that. I could explode it. Let's explode this and click enter. And now if I do offset, type in offset, hit enter, type let's say a distance of 40, enter. And now I click on this line, it doesn't do the entire region because now these lines are not joined together anymore. All right, so we've shown you line, polyline, offset, explode, join. Here's the circle command. I'm still in the offset command. I need to click escape to get out of the command. Type in circle, hit enter. And if you click anywhere, that will be the center of the circle. And then you could define the radius here. Let's make it a radius of 150. There's a circle of radius 150. All right. Here's the arc command, 3 points. So click on the arc. I can do 1, 2, 3, and it just makes a nice arc. So it's the start, the center, and the end of it there. All right. Here, this command is a rectangle command. I could click here and just draw a rectangle. Now let me show you how to use the rectangle command to draw a rectangle of a specific length. So let's start the rectangle command. Type in RECT, there's rectangle, hit enter, and I'm going to click anywhere for my first point. Let's click here. Now let's say I want to make a rectangle of, I don't know, 400 by 500 millimeters. Okay, well, I want to define the dimensions. So to do that, type in D and then hit enter. Now it says, hey, I want to tell me what's the length and the width. Let's make the length, I don't know, let's make it 400, hit enter, and now the height 500, hit enter, and now there is a rectangle, and now it's just wanting that's length 400 by 500, and it just wants to know which location to put it. We could put it there. Okay. So notice if I click on rectangle and here's my first point, the next point, it's just this 566 and this 420 are just simply the coordinates, not the dimensions of it. Okay, that's important to know. So if you want the dimensions, let's say, again, let's try this again. Let's make the dimensions, 100 by 300. You see, I could define the area or the dimensions here. Dimensions the most common. Type in D, hit enter, and then 100 is the length, enter. 300 is the height, enter. There's a rectangle 100 by 300. All right. Take the polyline. Let's make a polyline and draw a shape that looks like this. Just a right triangle. Now click escape. So draw a right triangle that looks like that. Okay, I want to show you about some things down here in what's called the status bar. All right. This is just the display of the grid. If I click that, notice that grid goes away. Okay, we don't have to have it. Some people don't use it. I typically have it on. That's just displaying the grid on and off. This other button down here will make it to where you can only draw at 90-degree angles. So let's start the Polyline command, and let's click on this ortho mode. And now try to draw something. Let's click here, come up, click again. Notice I can't go in any directions except for directly to the right, horizontal or vertical. I can't go at just any angle I want. That's called the orthographic mode, and it's useful. Now click escape. So it's useful if you know you're only going to be drawing at right angles like this. Most of the time we want this polar mode. So click on polar mode there. That's the default mode that would allow you to draw at any angle that you want. Okay, the next thing I want to show that is really important are these object snaps here. Okay, so you hopefully have drawn a right triangle like this. Okay, click on Polyline again. Now look at these snaps. You see the green square that popped up. That's the endpoint. If you come down here and click on this arrow on the object snaps, and all the ones with the check mark are the snaps that you have. So it will snap to an endpoint, a midpoint, an intersection, a tangent. Okay, so let's show this. I have Polyline on. Let's say I want to draw a line that intersects this line and it's perpendicular to it. Well, look, right now it wants to snap either to the midpoint or snap to the endpoint here, and I don't want that. I want it to snap perpendicular but on that line. Well, I need to turn the perpendicular snap on. It's not on right now. I'll click escape. Come down here, you see here's the perpendicular one. There's no check mark. Click there, now it's on. Now let's do this again. Click somewhere here, and now whoop, you see that perpendicular symbol? If I click here, it's snapped. Now click escape. This line is perpendicular to this line. Okay, so that's how the snaps can really help you. There is a snap even of tangent here. You see this tangent snap? I'll show you that. Let's draw a circle. Just draw some circle. Now click on line or polyline, it doesn't matter. Click somewhere here and you see this tangent symbol that pops up. If I click there, now that line is tangent to the circle here. Alright, so we've shown line, polyline, circle, arc, rectangle. Here's a ellipse. If I click on this, instead of just making a circle, you can make an ellipse like this. Okay, so there's how to make an ellipse. Now this other here is very useful. This is called the hatching. Click on hatching. I'll show you what the hatching does. Take any region that you've drawn that's a closed region. And if I click in the middle of it, it will fill that region in with whatever pattern you want. So this is, let's say, if you want to make it look like a brick wall or something, you can click on that pattern. Click on this, let's say click on that pattern. There's lots of different patterns here. Now look, all these lines are really small now. If I want to change the scale of that, I can change this number here, change it to 4. Let's make it, that's bigger lines, make it 2. I can change the how dense the pattern is in there. You can also change the color of it, make it yellow if you want, okay, whatever color you want. So that's how you would do a hatching. Again, if let me show you that again with this region here. Oh, here, let's show you one where it will be. We can use this for making showing walls. So let's do rectangle. Let's make a rectangle there. Okay. Now let's type in offset. Hit enter. Let's make a distance of 60. Enter. Let's offset that. And now, you click escape. And now hatch. There's the hatching. Hit enter. Let's click in this region there. Okay. You can change the pattern that you would like for it. Change the color here. Okay. And now that looks like a wall there. I'll click escape. So there's the hatching. Okay, so if I zoom out, these are all the different things I've been drawing. Yours may not look exactly like this, but hopefully you're learning. Okay, so now let me, I've shown you many of the drawing commands here. Now let's show you many of the modify commands. Okay, so let's start with one called move. That's this one in the top left up here. Okay, so take any of these objects you want to move. Let's say I want to move this object. Click on move, select the object, and then hit enter, and then click on some point. This is and click on one point, let go, and then move anywhere else you want and click again, and now you move that object. So just to show that again, I could type in MOVE. Here's move. Highlight what you want to move, hit enter, and then click on some point on the object, and that's the base point and then the end point there, and you've moved it. Okay. You could also rotate. This one here is called rotate. So again, let's just type in rotate. There's rotate. Hit enter. Let's select the object. Hit enter. And now the point that I choose now will be the object that it, or the point that it rotates around. So let's click this point. You can see I can rotate the object there. Okay. You can define the angle you want to rotate. So again, hit rotate. Let's select it, hit enter. There's a base point, and now I could type in some angle, let's say 70 degrees, and it rotated it 70 degrees. Okay, so there's move, I've shown rotate. Let's look at copy. Okay, so again, type in copy, hit enter, select what you want to copy, hit enter, and now it's the same like move. Select some base point, but instead it leaves a copy where you made it. You can continue to click. Let's put one over here and one over here. Click escape, and now you've copied that. Okay, so there's copy. All right, now let me show you the mirror here. So let's just draw some other object. I'm going to draw a triangle like this. Hit escape. All right. Now let's say I want to mirror this triangle. Click on mirror. Now let's select the object. Hit enter. And then I want to draw the first point and the last point of a line that I want to mirror about. I can mirror around that line. Let's do it there. Now I'll click again, so I've defined the mirror line, and now it's asking, do I want to erase the source object? So do I want to keep the first one or not? If I click yes, well then that first one is gone. Let's do that again. Type in mirror. Okay, there's mirror. Let's select this. Hit enter. Let's say I want to mirror around this edge. So let's do that line and this line. And I want to not erase it, so click no. And now it's made. It's made a mirror of that, but it's kept the original one. Alright, now let me show you this one, which is the Philic Command. So let's first just draw a rectangle. Okay, I have a rectangle now. The fillet just makes a nice rounded edge. We'll show you that. So click on fillet. Typically I want to define a radius. So you see these words down here. The first letter is in a blue color. So that's the letter that you would use to enter that command. So type in R to define the radius, hit enter. Let's define some radius. Let's make it 30, hit enter. And now I'll select the two edges that I want to round, and there's a fillet of 30. Okay, so let's show that again. And this time I'll start it by typing fillet. There's the, now not fill, I want this one here. Okay, let's make it 60 this time. Whoop, I need to type in R first. R, enter. Now define the distance, 60, and let's do these two. There's a radius of 60. Okay. There's also a thing, if you click here, called a chamfer, and that just does what it shows there. Type in CHM. There's chamfer, hit enter. Okay, I can define the distance, hit D, and let's define the distance of 60, and then the two lines there. This line and this line. Okay, there's a chamfer, which actually that's not 45 degrees, but that's okay, I can show another time. Okay. Alright, let's show that chamfer one again. Let's make it 45 degrees. Type in chamfer, hit enter. I want to specify a distance, hit D for distance. And now if I want both, so I want to make a line here, and if I want the distance of that cut to be 60 for both, type in 60. There's the first one. The second one also 60, hit enter. And now that line and this line, and there's that 45 degrees. So this distance that cut off was 60, and that distance was also 60. There's a chamfer. All right. Well, we've got lots of stuff here. Just a few more minutes. Now let me show you this one here. This is very important, called the trim. Okay. So let's take any of these shapes. Let's take a line and just draw some line that makes sure it actually crosses an edge here. Okay. Let's say I want to trim the outside of this line so that it only leaves this part. Well, I can click on trim here. Now hit enter, okay, and then you can just click on what you want to trim, and now it's trimmed off there. Okay, so here, let's take, for example, let's take this line. Now let's offset. Type in offset. Let's type a distance of 30. Hit enter. Now let's offset a couple times there. Okay. Now, so I hit escape to get out of the command. Now let's say I want to trim off these lines here that go outside of the rectangle. Type in trim, hit enter again, okay, and then I can just select what I want to trim. And there it is, all trimmed. Now the other command here that's important is extend. Okay, click on extend, and I want to select the object. Let's say if I want to take this line and extend it all the way until it touches here. The first thing I want to select is what you're extending to. So select this object, hit enter. Now this is the line I want to extend, and click the check mark. And then I could keep doing that. I want to extend this line, and this line. And now they're all extended. Click escape. Alright, well that gives you just a little bit of a brief view of how to use most of these commands. That'll be it for this video. I hope you followed along with that, and now we'll move on to others.